Join me on my new series on how to build an O-gauge layout. Hello and welcome to my new channel O-gauge Map, and in this build series we're going to build an O-gauge layout. Now some of you might recognise me around the show circuit recently, as I've been heavily involved in exhibiting Daisy Lane TMD, built by Simon Lemon over the last 3 years. But we also exhibit my own layout, Little Lechlade, which has been around for the last year and a half, first being exhibited in Stamford at Market Deeping Show, and then later in the year being exhibited in Nottingham Heritage Centre, both over 2-day events. So some of you might ask, why now build a smaller O-gauge layout? Well, simply put, my personal layout, Little Lechlade, is over 30 foot long, and I simply don't have 30 foot's worth of space to house it up and have it permanently set up. So by making a smaller layout, I can now play trains at home, and I can also exhibit it without the use of a trailer. As you can see, the baseboard is nearly finished, and it's now getting to a stage where I can start laying some track. So let's have a look at the track plan.
So as you can see, I use AnyRail to plan my layouts. The great thing about AnyRail is that it is completely free to use up to around 50 pieces of track. Since this is an O-gauge micro layout, we're never going to hit that limit, which means the free version is absolutely perfect for this project. So what's the track plan? Starting on the left hand side, we have a 3-foot traverser with 2 tracks, allowing trains and rolling stock to move on and off scene. The idea behind this is flexibility. Both tracks can feed into both roads on the layout, meaning trains can swap from one side to the other almost like a passing loop, while still allowing both lines to be used independently as storage at the same time. Moving over to the scenic section, on the right hand side of the layout, this area measures roughly 5 foot by 17 inches. The overall feel is going to be very Great Western Railway inspired, as this is the era and region I mainly model. A lot of the inspiration has come from Highley Station and Buckfastleigh in the South Devon Railway. Operationally, the plan is fairly simple, but it should be really enjoyable to use. A train will arrive into the station, and the locomotive can then uncouple and move into the head shunt. From there, it can run around the train using the pair of points leading back into the fiddle yard. And once the locomotive has repositioned itself, it can return onto the scenic section and propel the wagons back into the station sidings. And this is where the fun really starts. The layout is designed around the classic Inglenook shunting puzzle. The rearmost siding will hold the 5-wagon train that needs to be assembled, while the other 2 sidings can hold 3 wagons at any one time. It should make for some really engaging operating sessions despite the small size of the layout. Scenically, I'm planning to include a Bachmann cattle dock in the front right corner of the layout. It's a really common feature on many GWR branch lines, and although it won't add any operational functionality, it should help reinforce the atmosphere and the character of the scene. I'll also be installing a left-hand catch point on the front siding to prevent any runaway wagons from fouling the runaround loop. This is a detail that is very rarely modelled nowadays, so this will be a nice addition to add to the extra detail and realism. At the rear of the layout, I'm hoping to include a small station platform. This means I can still run auto trains and short passenger services while shunting takes place in the foreground, adding a bit more operational variety and giving me an excuse to run different locomotives and stock. As for the station building itself, I honestly haven't decided on what direction I want to go. I'll probably wait until the layout has progressed a bit further before deciding whether to scratch build something unique or use a ready-made kit. Either way, it's going to have to be low relief so that it'll fit onto the layout. One thing I did recently pick up in a job lot of track was a Pico LK709 ground level signal box kit. It hasn't exactly been built to the highest standard, so the plan is to carefully take it apart, rebuild it properly and place it towards the back left of the layout near the scenic break. And speaking of scenic breaks, I'm still undecided on exactly how I want to disguise the 2 tracks entering from the left hand side. At the moment I'm leaning towards a low relief humpback bridge. You may also notice the red dots around the layout plan. These represent motorised ground signals by Dapple, with the exception of the uppermost signal, which will be a motorised starting signal instead. Because this is such a compact layout, I really want there to be plenty of movement and animation going on. Even when the trains are just slowly trundling around, there should be something always to pique the interest of the viewer. And honestly, I think that's what gives the layout their small charm. All that little detail packed into a tight space.
So that wraps up this track planning video for the new micro O-gauge layout. If you like what you see, please do hit that subscribe button and leave it a thumbs up. And also please post a comment down below and tell me what you would do differently with this layout. So until next time, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.